All right, my name is Dmitri Zimine. I'm here to introduce the open source catalog of serverless functions for you to reuse. And one relevant thing to know about me tonight is I have a flight to catch tonight, and it's pretty tight. So whatever I say on stage, whatever I do on stage is going to be short. And I cannot hang out with you, so please, let's take it to Twitter. Now, let's get down to business, and the business of reuse. When we look at reuse in serverless, in the new serverless world, what do we have there? What options do we see? Well, we have application serverless application repository from Amazon. Launched officially 2 months ago, announced in November. 250 applications or pieces of applications that you can easily deploy and use if they happen to be what you need. Now, what are the chances? Let's see. An average deployment of the application there is about 10. Only 1% of these applications are deployed more than 200 times. The record there is 365 of the secret manager password swapper for the MySQL. So we'll see. Give it time. We'll see how it grows. Recently, our hosts here announced the serverless components. So yeah, cannot say anything bad about that yet, because there is no stats on that yet. But it looks promising. You know, these guys based the stuff on the serverless framework. They place the code first, like we live in DevOps world, right? And the idea there is to promote the reuse of the application patterns. Again, jury's still out. With that, I think something's still missing. And to understand what's missing, let's reflect on our Lambda functions. What are they? What do we place in the Lambda functions? Well, half the time, we put their business logic. Like, business logic is a red herring, meaning the more you know the business, the more you see that there is very little logic there. But whatever logic you got, it's yours. You know this, it's unique, and it adds value. So, like, good, have fun, code it up. This is yours. The other half time, our Lambdas is integrations. It's the glue. It integrates with AWS services. It integrates with other clouds. Multi-cloud right now is more and more prominent. And it integrates with everything in the world. Weather, communications, Slack, GitHub, HipChat, business integration, Salesforce, ServiceNow, PagerDuty, Stripe, what have you. It's a lot of integration there. And you know what's interesting about these integrations? They are necessary, but they're mundane. It is not fun to write them. It is no novelty to dig into the Slack undocumented API to figure out how it works. It is no joy in maintaining ServiceNow integration when they release the new version and you need to update it. It's just, you just want them to work and get back to your red herring, to the business logic. So they're highly reusable too. So the wonder is there anything that we can use? And in the serverless world, there is nothing. But what about in the previous world? And apparently there is such a thing. This thing is StackStorm Exchange. Started in 2014 with a bunch of things done there. And what we're showing today is this thing with integrations built together with serverless framework. Now, what it is, where did it come from? Well, I'll need to take you to the excursus into the history, into the times before serverless. Just to give you a little bit of the context. And how did people do event-driven? How did people do Lambda before Lambda? Well, StackStorm. StackStorm is the project which we started, and I'm not here to pitch the StackStorm, just to give you enough information about that to give you the context. And it won't take long, I promise. I have a plan to catch. So, what is StackStorm? StackStorm is if this then that for DevOps. If this happens, if our sensors register an event, it might be a monitoring event with Nagios or with Splunk, or it might be the change of the temperature in this room. If something happens, we run that against a set of rules and take the actions. And the actions is, pretty much integrations. And then these actions can be taken into the workflow so the people actually can use these Liga blocks, the reusable actions, to build some cool automations. For you serverless people, maybe this is easier. It is AWS Lambda and step functions combined. With the rules engine playing the role of the event grid or event gateway. Or you may think of that as Azure Logic Apps. Yeah, Logic Apps is the thing. And this is open source. It is old in a good way. And it is serviceful. So this thing is not relevant to this talk. What is relevant is there is some cool thing about StackStorm, the actions, integrations that are built and have been heavily used by the DevOps community for quite a while. And when I get myself into the serverless, I begin to think, it's actually, let's look at them. Let's look. Here is the StackStorm Exchange. So exchange.stackstorm.org, you're already making the bookmarks. So if you begin to look at that, so there are quite a lot of interesting things here. So you have, Docker, you have the security things like FireEye, Fortinet, you have the DevOps stuff, you have some cloud, you have some IoT stuff. It's actually, the list goes on and on and on. And, it's service now. Oh, we get Tesla here. People actually, usually catch an eye on this. So what you can do with your Tesla. Anyone has Tesla here? By the show of hands. All right, so let me see. It doesn't just do the honk, so unlock the vehicle. Care to share credentials for a Tesla? We can use them in the demo. Anyways, so there is a lot of interesting stuff in StackStorm Exchange. And when I look at that, I think, it's strong community, heavily used. When I begin to get into serverless, and guys know here I got into the serverless, I thought like, what if I can actually reuse this stuff and use that in my serverless stuff? What if I can recycle StackStorm actions into the Lambda functions? And what if I can actually reduce the amount of work to do so? Like, what if we can make it easier? So with that, showtime. And you judge if it's easy or not. So the first part is scripted. Imagine that we're doing the new serverless project. Let's do a plot. We are fighting for peace. Like crazy world, politics are going crazy, and we just want to do something serverless for our presidents to become friends again, right? So we want to throw them into the Slack and make them talk on Slack so that the peace is back again. So and we want to use serverless for this. But we're running out of time because the world is getting crazy every minute. So let's do this. Create a directory, go npm init, and then install the plugin. The beauty of serverless framework. I'm glad that most of you guys are familiar with what serverless framework is. If no, follow along. So you get the plugin installed, then you open the serverless file. Here is the serverless file. All we need to do here is, first, we define the action. So in the function section, instead of the handler, you define the action. And the action is pack, and the action in the pack. We expect to get some input into the Lambda function, depending on your application. So this is the type of the input. An extra thing here is the input transformation. A function expects certain parameters in certain places. We use Jinja templates here to do the transformation. For JavaScript guys out here, Jinja for Python is what mustache of handlebars for JavaScript. So same with output, comes very handy if you begin to combine them in step functions. You can actually transform your output so that it fits the input of the next function precisely. And then there are configuration. For instance, like I don't want to expose the Slack token here, so I'll put that into configuration, a typical pattern in our serverless world. And last but not the least, the reference to the plugin. That's it. So this is the serverless file. So I pre-created this whole thing and took about, like 5-7 minutes when you know what to do. Okay, run commands. Okay. So, full disclosure, a little bit of the magic here. I use a magical tool, it's actually called Demo Magic, that let me type the terminal straight out of my brain. Everything else is real. So that's a real demo. The only thing here is the typing. And Demo Magic, actually, check it out. That's pretty cool. So first thing they do we? OK. Ha. So that's the plugin. So we do the like a StackStorm help. Sometimes Demo Magic doesn't work. So that's the output of the plugin. So it can do quite a lot of things. Let's explore. One of the things it can do is to explore what we do. Like, what do we have on Slack? Slack, quite a few of actions. Here is the interesting one, the one which we need. User admin invite. Let's see what this action is doing. So the plugin gets the action metadata and shows us what are the input parameters, what are the output parameters, so that if we need to, we can actually put them in here. So now that we know what are the action parameters, we created the YAML file, so we package. Like, this is real, only the typing is not. So we create the serverless package, which takes the pack from StackStorm Exchange, packs it up with all the Python dependencies into the serverless deployment package, pretty much your Lambda, and put it locally here. So we can actually just do SLS deploy, but before that, I always prefer to do the local run. And we use the Docker to simulate that in the environment the most close to what we are doing here. OK, let's invite Donald to our Slack channel. So same package gets deployed on Docker, runs, spins up the Docker container, deploys that, gets the stuff installed, runs the functionality locally. And usually, again, there is some space for optimization here for us actually not to spin up the container to accelerate the development, but usually works. So here is the event. The Lambda function is already being executed. And here we actually do something that's convenient for debugging. We show what's the incoming event, what are the parameter transformation from the incoming event using this, what is the action call, what is the output transformation, so everything so that before you deploy that to Lambda, you flesh it out here. And then we're actually doing the deploy. So the deploy will take some time. So, and I have a plan to catch, so time is precious. Let's look under the hood. Once again, what we have here is, first of all, there is no StackStorm in the picture. You don't need to install StackStorm. You don't need to understand StackStorm. You don't even need to know that StackStorm exists. All you need to know is there is an action runner, the piece of StackStorm architecture that knows how to run actions out of the exchange, which is being used here. So good job on our guys. We fully separated this component, and that's it. So it's stormless. It's also serverless, meaning we use Go serverless framework. And this is the plugin. And plugin does all the heavy lifting to appear the thing to be easy. What it does, it browses the exchange. We see that. We actually can get all the information from the exchange there, the action metadata, how to use them, etc. It packages the stuff for us. What's in the package? In the package is the pack itself with the action. It's all the Python requirements automatically created and packaged inside. The runtime, the one piece of StackStorm which we took there, and the handler. And the handler actually wires all these things together. So we do this, we package that. When we run that locally, again, the traditional Lambda Docker container, and then we deploy. So let's see, how's our deployment doing? Yeah, deployment is done. Let's see, there are, this is the link to the serverless platform. I hope you guys had seen that already. This is, again, something. So it says that there is a, demo deployed. Actually, may want to refresh this. I also have here the invitations to my stuff. So the, Donald had been recently invited by me. So in fact, we can check, like, you guys all believe that we Russians have access to all the American presidents, current and past, right? So indeed, Donald has been invited here, and let's join from his behalf. We need another president. So now we will invoke. So we'll invoke another president here, and hopefully it will work. Some people ask me, like, why Donald is, like small letters and Vladimir is capital. It's a convention, right? It's kind of in software, we use variables, small letters, and constants. They go capital. All right, so it is invited. And indeed, in the in this thing, we can see that here is, come on, Slack, yet another invitation up here. Everything works. Now, was it difficult? Like, it was actually codeless. Meaning, we didn't write any code. Something worked. We wrote all these things, like, I'm just kidding. I mean, of course there is some code there, but we didn't write any. So there is code. So, if I look in this directory where the stuff is, there is a directory called -st2 where we prepare the stuff before we put that into the package. And inside this, there is packs, and inside that there is a Slack pack. That is where the plugin pulls out the stuff from StackStorm Exchange and places there. So if I do packs, the thing here is a Git repository. So you can, it's exactly the same thing as you saw up there in the Git. If you want to change something locally, which is unlikely, but like we actually welcome contributions, something doesn't work for you, you can take it out there and push it back and create the contribution. So one of the important things here is we're looking into making the contributions back into community smooth, easy. So with that, I think I'm done with the show, and I have much more things to show you, but like I have a plane to catch, right? So worry not, however, this is the thing, like I don't see you guys lifting up your phones, no, joy. So this is the thing that has the context of the demo and more things. It is how to create other serverless components, how to mix the things from Exchange with your business logic Lambda functions, how to wire them all together with the step functions, and even how to put the UI on this. So check it out. And the best thing is, just do it. We introduced that we're happy to share, we're happy to reuse and recycle the cool stuff that we created in the DevOps world into the serverless world. Give it a try. The demo that I ran is on GitHub repo. Share the feedback, we'll pick up the forums and we'll create a thread on serverless forum. Tweet us, StackStorm, Go Serverless, myself, Dmitri Zimine. And the best, just try Exchange. Explore, take a look, give it a try, and contribute back. We shared the keys to the exchange with the serverless folks. Dmitri, who is one of the serverless contributors, has all the key to take your contributions into the exchange. So if you have an idea of the cool integration there, bring it up. And last but not the least, let me give the credits to the guys who did most of the coding, heavy lifting there on the plugin. This is Kirill and this is Tomasz. They're hanging out in Vienna right now, having fun, but like they did all the hard work. And to Extreme Networks, StackStorm is supported by Extreme Open Source. Extreme is a networking company that gives, that appreciates open source and does a lot to support the innovation and the open source projects. So with that, have a plane to catch and wish me luck, and we'll pick it on Twitter.